Tabang, are you able to hear? We can see the presentation. We can't hear you if you are talking, unless if it's only me. Um, at the moment, we can't hear you, and it's not only me; it's everyone in the session as well. Maybe you need to log out and log back in, and let's try it again. Sign out and sign back in. Hi, Tabang. We okay. Apologies to everyone. I think we have some technical issues with the presentation for today. I can see that we're already in 30 minutes in. Um, let's see, let's give it some more time, like 5 more minutes, and see if we can sort it out. Other than that, then we will have to reschedule this session to another day, because I also don't want it to be rushed. You are here to get some nuggets and some learnings. And I see that Tabang is struggling with the mic. I, it's not muted, but we can't hear him. Hi, Tabang.
Hi.
Okay, I think now you are back online.
Oh,
Are you able to go ahead and share your screen again and see if you can present?
okay. I'm getting a feedback here, but fine. But we're not gonna rush. We could.
Yes, we're good.
Okay. Again, apologies for that, colleagues. So, I'm now going to go straight into it. This is myself here, having used an AI tool to sort of who is this Taban? Um, Much as we talk about leadership and stuff, I just wanted to share this slide that describes who I am. I'm an extreme sports junkie. I have a bike. I ride a bike. Now and then DJ, and I love outdoors. And I hate suits and formal wear. So that is just me in a nutshell, so that you understand who you are interacting with. Now, there's a saying that says, culture eats strategy for breakfast, lunch, and supper, suggests that an organization culture is more impactful than its strategy. Meaning, a positive, engaging culture can make a good strategy succeed, while a negative culture will undermine even the best laid plans. Your colleagues would have seen the recent news of a particular department like SASA, but engage about it. Today's main, um, it's going to be about authentic leadership, no fake lives at all. The meat, which is project management, how we make things happen. The spice, which is the governance and ethics. So no manga manga business. And then the veggies, which are the people management, your team and my team. And how do we use that to get the output of any project that we may have? And how do we use communication and innovation to make sure that we get best strategy out? But critical to this menu that I'm talking about is that throughout that process, we need total quality management. So loosely termed. Now, we need to differentiate as well that there's a prime master and there's a bra. And let's look into this and zoom in. So a bra creates chaos and confusion. Smoke is everywhere. That's when you're brain. Burnt out voice and raw chicken because Tabang have put the chicken there, it doesn't allow the fire to be slow and so on. Hungry, frustrated guests. Now, when you have a prime master, the type of leader that exists and that should be existing, both in our institutions, everyday lives, is you need calm and control leaders, well prepared with all the tools to support the team. Perfect time, temperature on when to respond to an issue in an organization or not. In this case, it would be when to turn the heat or not. Everyone eats and enjoys. So that's part of leadership in the corporate strategy where earlier on I had reflected if there's negative energy, you will get negative outputs, and that's a cost attached to that. So if you have positive energy, you then drive a culture that you know, participation participation by everyone, and they can own that strategy. To get that strategy working, we have to think about the Stockfell strategy as part of project management. Remember the Stockfell that you and I or my grandmother on that at the end of the day, which is the 3 months left, I know me to be getting a package of meat that she had contributed to it. But let's get it clear. For them to get that meat package at the end of the year, is that there's a clear goal. But in this case, it would be a furniture that must be procured for everyone, whoever would have wanted that, because that's their goal. Now, to meet that goal, they need a fixed budget. Fixed budget that says how do we contribute to making sure every month we save up 500 rands to get the furniture that we want. So the timeline in the project value chain is 12 months. So meaning there is an element and should be an element of accountability by the treasurer as appointed. In this case, the lessons that we already learned from the project management would be the project manager. So we would, in this case, say the treasurer is a project manager because he overlooks the entire commitment of the team. Now, when we look at governance as a subject matter that I'm expected to discuss, in simple terms, let's think about the tax shop. Rule number one, no credit after 6. So if we are Hamaman Kaza and want to get something after 6, you can't get credit. Those are clear boundaries for everyone to know. And that's a governance process. And those are the controls. Two, count cash flow daily. Regular checkups of that cash so that there may be no process of mismanagement of those funds and so on. Number three, that would be oversight by Auntie or Bobo, who checks the books every Sunday. So it becomes a process of total quality management because then it's in between the entire exercise. So if you see that Auntie is the one that checks out the books on Sunday, it would have meant that Tabang as a shop owner there, there's separation of duties. I would have counted the cash flow every day, but there's someone who needs to then look at it on a Sunday. So that would be my problem. I would have engaged about total quality management. We've reflected above there on the various issues that relate to project management, leadership, and so on. As part of clear quality control, is that it's about building a reputation, not making money. And meaning that for every stage of the project management cycle, the leadership, and the governance, you have to continue having controls that are always changing and improved. It's how legends keep their hustle together. And at the end of the day, whether you work in the public sector, whether you work in the private sector, or you have a startup, the primary key stakeholder here is the customer you are serving. So it's important to understand your customer end to end. What time they eat, what are their likings, and so on. Colleagues would have seen that now, if my boy goes on TikTok now, for some odd reason, the things that she likes become the top things in her timeline. Algorithm working there. So if it was not for total control management, then the service provider would have meant that you don't know their boy. So there's a difference between surviving and thriving. So in order for you to excel, you have to have continuous engagement for total quality management. So to do that, for that shop we're referring to, you need to plan. Until plans the stock in different bread brands. The next follow up is to do a test of the different types of. So why did you take out the food from your mouth? May I have to ask some there? Um, you, then you have the anti testing the 10 types of loaves. There may be a particular Mr. Chaba who runs a bakery, one runs a bakery, but that is tested with the 10 loaves as to say what is going out of the spaza shop more than other product. So that's why you do your sort of quality assurance testing with your clients to say, no, these products are moving out more than, but this type of bread is moving out more than this particular one. And that's how you then begin to effect such processes. Now, she checks how much of the bread was sold of the 10 and which particular customer bought that, at what time, was it in the was it during the day? Does it mean there are other people at home? It means that they're working? What's a added value provide the buy to? So that's how we then do the check. The lesson here is that test small, learn, then go big. Avoid costly mistakes by recycling through these steps. There's a guy I know who runs a mukaba. It's a water treatment. Now has perfected the sigma producing. He's got a number of quarters. I'm not sure a quarter. If anyone doesn't know, it's a loaf of a half a quarter of a bread that is mixed with all these type of delicacies that you would want, like a burger patty and so on. So what Six Sigma means is that a process so good you barely ever mess up, because the process that there are standards that must be set. It means that the bread must the perfect bread to the chips ratio. You can't have less chips in a order. That ultimately it's um, consistent sauce distribution. It's not in a corner somewhere in the quarter there. It means it's spread across the quarter inside. Right temperature every time. This I would have seen, for example, if I have slept at the hotel. I see these people, they go there, they do else like Russian and so on, and then they come and wait for the egg. By that time, they get the egg, the food is cooked. So that's exactly it. No variations for disappointment. The goal is to get your hustle to where customers get the same great experience every single time. One of the reasons I personally go and get quota is that I know I'll get it at this particular time, get the same quality. I don't have to struggle waiting that someone else gets it for me, because the process is so seamless. There's a concept called takumi, be the master of craftsmen. Deeper than quality, it's about pride and mastery. When you lead, when you run a project, when you govern the project, to have pride and mastery. So if Amakuta lady with 20 years of perfection, perfecting her ratio, it's a wire car artist who hands move with precision. It's like a makosa where everything you know it when you get it, it would be the same quality. The barber shop I personally go to, uh, I know for sure that if I don't go to this barber shop, my I'm either going to get some pimples on my head. It's the way has pays attention to me that keeps me going there because the individual has his craftsmanship. Just in time, the tuck shop has this means that you get what you need just when you need. I'll make an example. If I want to see my baba, I know I'll get my baba there. If he says he's closing at 6, not 5 to 6, closing at 6, I will get him at 6. Why it matters? Stop lying around equals to money sleeping. If this was a production house, is that things need to go out. So there's a model that we call the 10% in and the 10%, the 20% out. So that model is about saying if you've got stock, your stock must, and even if someone has bought it, just in time is that tomorrow it's going to be my coffee. Even if I run an alcohol place, 10% over the stock must be there. So that just in time people can get what they want. It gives me time to then order the next. You can't have empty shelves. In this case, you can't have in the public sector where it's just a lie. You need people saying something. Tuck shop method now is that know what sells in which days. I still argue that you need data to know which date or dates to collect the rubbish. I'll make another. If in a household there's 5 of us, the next house has 4 individuals, the other one has 2. The likelihood is that our rubbish consumption is different. 2 is that I can assure you that data is not used then determine a rubbish collection. Because if we understood that data, then our decision making would be different. This means that, for example, in this case, ordering bread daily, not weekly, it's going to get stale. Match the supply to the actual demand. So if this household has so many people in a house and the other one has just few, match that supply and demand. Free up cash for opportunity. Your hustle. Apply this to your time, source, workload. Don't let things just slide. There's a good friend of mine who says, just go, my brother, and cycle. I've not been cycling for a year because I just have no things to let slide. So the total quality management is one of the key issues is the customer. I put this as a just on issue. The theory is that everything revolves around the customer. We've spoken about that. The best salons listen. How is the new style? So if they listen, for example, if I go to my own barber shop, you make sure that he's asking me about is how's my studying going, what are the projects that I'm doing, so it becomes now personal. that I can offload and say, you know, my internet today messed me out and so on. He's already captured me. I spend time there. The next thing I do my nails. I do my nails, by the way. So why it works? They make you feel heard. That's how you learn. That's how you then get the revenue coming in. Because when you understand the customer, then it's easier for the customer to spend. I would have come there to have a haircut. The next thing I'm staying to do the nails. Listen to what your boss, client, or team really need. That's another topic on leadership because there are instances where you would have a leader running a project, but his team does not know. So who are they leading if they can't collaborate on ideas and so on? Because I can assure you that project will be a failure. As I've said previously, you need to have continuous improvement. I think I've raised that issue. Um, Employee empowerment as part of the total uh, quality management. We've spoken about everyone else, but we've not spoken about the engine that keeps the car running. Trust the team to make decisions. So if you are a leader in a project management and you are governing, trust what they are expected to do. So this means that you delegate but remain accountable. It works because it makes the team members become part of that plan or the output. They have a sense of ownership. They get involved in the right on the spot. They become a living experience of that project. Then customers get service faster, better, and efficient. Because what you have done is to fill the cup internally. The rest of the stuff is that if as a manager, mine is then to have a look at my view of the next project while I allow this team to lead. So critical is that your leadership, you must how, scheme how, give a goal, and let them figure it out. And that's how people grow and mistakes. Okay. Do not micromanage because micromanage is an element of also to you're running a business, whether you you're working for the public sector and so. Now the final motivation to everyone who's given me the opportunity to listen and interact with this presentation is that you got this. I know sometimes it feels like you're not sure as to where the direction is, but I want to tell you, you got this. I have failed so many times, both in my private and so academic and my school life, that I still carry on because I'm just a simple guy from 2209 Ministry North to actually have this in a corporate world. So it's possible to do it. Your background is your foundation, not your ceiling. It's your reference point. A big thank you to everyone, despite the challenges with microphone. I want to say I appreciate and I'm going to take any questions that you may have or things that are more input you want to share. But before I have a everyday ritual with my boys. There's a guy here is Bitano. This is Boshoko. So we have a daily expression of affirmation around leadership, around around why we exist. Um, and I would like you to listen to what our daily affirmation is. So the corner office that I talk about, it's possible. If you keep your lane, understand that leadership is dynamic, projects are going to fail. For them not to fail, you need to do analysis, you need to do forecasting, you need to manage them by governing them. And throughout that life cycle, total quality management. Now, here's a quote that I leave you with. It says, lead with honor for the legacy you leave, but not for the legacy you leave, but for the standard you set. The future of leadership is reflected in our actions today. So these two young boys, hopefully, they become the best version of themselves because we have honored them by creating a standard of saying this is where you need to step moving forward as a leader, as a project manager, and governing your own things. With that said, very much. Over to you, boy. Stop sharing.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, thank you very much for a wonderful session. Despite all the technical issues, thank you for sharing with us some nuggets that will also make us rethink about what we do. And a clear takeaway from me is that from what you said is that leadership is not only about a position, but it's always about responsibility, strategy, and continuous improvement. And this is based on your TQMs and your governance and your leadership and all that. And that is what I take from here. We really appreciate your insights that you've shared with us, and I'm now gonna open up to the floor. I am wary of the time, but are there any burning questions? You are more than welcome to raise your hand. Mukhosi, you're more than welcome to unmute.
Oh, hello. Thank you very much. Today, Tabang, brilliant presentation. I think just quick one is around the importance of collaboration and networking, especially as a strategic in practice. What are your thoughts on that? And thank you again for a very very clear and concise presentation.
Thank you very much, Abdul Mkhosi. I think the existence of any project or output without collaboration, I think, in my view, it can never exist because we we all are different individuals, come from different backgrounds, bad or good, but tapping into the wisdom of other people's strengths only makes for you and your output to be the best version of itself. So I would encourage collaboration anytime. One of the key things is that when you're a leader, you must stop fearing. You must stop fearing to send me a text and say, Tabang, I heard you speak about this and I would like us to engage further. Um, and because of collaboration, that's how one has been able to get such amazing opportunities. In fact, there's one gentleman that I like so much. I don't know whether to mention or not. It took me just a simple text of LinkedIn to say, Mr. X, I appreciate the work that you do. Um, I don't know how I want to partner or collaborate with you, but I feel because of the energy that drives me to your work, I'd like to collaborate with you. And let's just say there's great things coming up, and I think collaboration is one of the key do not underestimate collaboration. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions, comments from everyone? We left with 5 minutes and we can still squeeze in one more question.
Mind if I just shoot? I think I think it's Lindy with Darby. So that's how I approach some of these. Miss Lindy with Darby, is there anything you want to say?
I trust you to throw me under the bus, that Mugoga. Good evening. No, I'm covered, but let me take this opportunity to appreciate this presentation. I think it should be a continuous thing. It's very encouraging, especially us as young people in the public sector. So thank you very much, Ndata Mugoga.
Wow. Yes, because that was I ditto what you just said, Lindelwa, because that is one thing that I wanted to comment on to say, this presentation, I feel like it should have been done for more than an hour or 30 minutes because we gave you 30 minutes. We need more of this because I think there were elements that need more of expansion and practical exploration, especially like the majority of the people on um, the session today are mentees. So we want to also make sure that they understand that this leadership is not just only about the people at the helm. Everyone can practice leadership at any point, but then how do you apply it in your day-to-day life? And not wait until someone tells you that this is your leader and these are the things that you need to do. How do you take accountability of the work that you're doing? Thank you for that suggestion. Yes, Tabang?
I think just to also add to what you're saying is that I always make an argument on leadership where I say it doesn't matter that whether you run a corporation or you run your own household. Point is that even if you are running your household, you are managing and you are making sure there's electricity, you are making sure that there's cleanliness in the house. That in itself is leadership. So it's not far, it's things that we do every day. So I would encourage also colleagues to begin to start looking at it from that way. And controls are exactly that, making sure the kids don't come late. Those are the controls. If you come late at night, I must not come to the house and then the curtains are not closed. Yeah, that used to be done to me. So those are the controls.
I see Mutlakwana. You can go ahead.
Thank you so much, my sister. It's Mutlakwana.
Oh,
Yes, I would like to apologize. I only joined towards the dying minutes of the presentation, and I can sense that I might have missed out on a lot of valuable information. My request would be, is there a way that this can be shared so that at least I am totally not lost at all on this? If possible, I would love to have it being shared with us. Thank you so much.
no problem. As long as you're registered, you will receive a communication when the recording is available. So you will get an automated email with the recording, and you can listen and watch. And on that note, we are on top of the hour. Um,
Through your
unless if
approval, Mebwe, I think through your approval, because there's a views that we should expand further. Maybe through your guidance, you can advise when that could be, and then focus directly on those issues.
yeah, I think we can take that offline and then schedule, looking at our schedule for other webinars and sessions that are happening throughout this month. then we can slot it in and then see which topics and how we communicate that to everyone. But on that note, please check out our LinkedIn web page, and also our Facebook and Twitter and TikTok. I think we do have TikTok. The marketing team people can tell me if I'm wrong. We will always post and publish any events that we have, and you can follow us and to stay in touch. And also, very soon we will have a YouTube channel where you can also watch all the recordings for all the webinars that we are hosting, so that you don't miss out. And then on that note, let me do the final closing. So thank you very much, Ndate Tabang, for your expertise and insights that you shared with the team today. Your guidance on leadership, strategy, project management, and governance, continuous improvement has also given us some little bit of practical ways of thinking about the work that we're doing in terms of us growing personally